To say the Houston Texans are in a mess is a massive understatement. Bill O'Brien, their former GM, pretty much ruined the entire future of the team to try to convince people he was on the same level as Bill Belichick in that he can trade talent for less and still be competitive. He failed miserably and was fired after a Week 4 loss to the Minnesota Vikings, who barely practiced that week due to COVID-19 restrictions. Deshaun Watson looks like he wants out, and same with JJ Watt. The team doesn't have their first-round pick this year thanks to a deal that Bob made with the Dolphins, where he received Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills. Another trade that hurt them, because they had to overpay for tons, and Stills isn't even on their team anymore. They probably could have used that first-round pick this year, which was actually pick 3, to select someone like Devontae Smith to give Watson some help to replace DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not even going to go into that whole Hopkins thing. I think everyone knows very well about that and the consequences that followed that trade. The Texans are in a total mess, and although it seems like they won't be able to recover from this for a long time, there is a chance, with the right moves, they can escape being a total mess, and that's what we're going to talk about on today's video. Let's jump right into it. The Texans went 4-12 after a disaster of an offseason. The defense was a dumpster fire, and the offense, despite Deshaun Watson having an MVP season, not being able to do much as well. There were some small bright spots, such as Will Fuller having a great season as a number 1 option, bringing in 53 receptions for 879 yards and 8 touchdowns before he was suspended for 6 games. Like I mentioned before, Deshaun Watson was playing like an MVP, throwing for a ridiculous 4,823 yards on 382 completions with 33 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. At the beginning of the season, Watson wasn't actually looking that good, but once Bob was fired, he played fantastic football, which just furthers the case how bad of a GM and coach Bill O'Brien was. Zach Cunningham had a nice season on the defensive side, recording 164 tackles, which was second most in the entire league. But overall, the team was just built terribly and is close to being a complete mess, with Watson and Watt both possibly getting traded. There is a reason why they haven't been able to hire a head coach yet, with guys like Eric Bieniemy flat out not wanting to go there because of the awful situation they're currently in. They were able to bring in Nick Caserio as GM, and with his time as the Patriots, he was well respected, and the Texans hope he can do as well for them as he did with New England. So what can the Texans do to escape being a total mess? First of all, trade Deshaun Watson. He clearly wants out, and with him coming off a season where he led the league in passing yards and was playing like an MVP, teams will be willing to give up a lot to get him. 2 teams he had on the top of his list are the Jets and the Dolphins, and both teams would be great partners for them in a trade. New York has a number 2 overall pick, and Miami has a number 3 overall pick from, Houston themselves. Houston doesn't seem that interested in Tua Tagovailoa, who would probably be in a Watson-Miami deal. So their best option is to probably respect Watson's list and trade him to his top team, the New York Jets. New York will most likely give up the 2nd overall pick as well as pick 23 from the Jamal Adams trade and a future 2022 first. And if the Texans really believed in Sam Darnold, the Jets can add him in a trade too. Now, to quickly talk about what this means for the Jets, they get their franchise QB in Watson. They can still make a splash in free agency for a nice receiver for Watson, and with a young but talented defense, they are good to compete in the AFC East. As for the Texans, you're getting 3 first-round picks, which is a lot, as well as a QB that can still prove himself in Darnold. Now, although Darnold still has potential, as if you look at a former QB that did much better after leading Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill, he's playing far better than he ever did in Miami, and he's 32. So if the Texans want to, they can take a risk on Darnold. And with a 2nd overall pick, they can get him a number 1 receiver in Heisman winner Devonta Smith, or give Darnold protection in Penei Sewell, who is looking like he could be the next Orlando Pace, and he could help that offensive line, which struggled protecting Watson last year. The smarter pick would be taking Sewell, as although Smith would be fantastic, their bigger priority is on the O-line, which ranked 23rd in PFF's final 2020 offensive line rankings. So with a generational talent in Sewell, pairing up with Laremy Tunsil, the offensive line is already looking much better. Now they also have the 23rd overall pick. They could get what is most likely going to be Darnold some help and a nice receiver, but they need to address that defense, which was ranked 27th this year. They have the worst run defense in the league this year, and they can use that pick to select a guy like Nick Bolton, who on one play can stop the run and on the very next play can guard a receiver or tight end. Exactly what this team needs. The Texans still have J.J. Watt on roster, who is also most likely gone. A team that is in desperate need of a pass rusher and has connections with the new GM of the Texans or the New England Patriots, who can give up a 2021 second and third rounder as well as a future third round pick in 2022. Remember, J.J. Watt is turning 32 in March and has been injury prone. Although he played all 16 games this season, he only recorded 5 sacks, and this is probably going to be the best offer the Texans can get for him, and they should definitely accept it. With a second round pick, they can either immediately replace J.J. Watt with a nice pass rusher or help address that secondary that was also awful last year. They have a couple options they can look at, but those two positions are what they need to address with not only the second round pick, but the other picks as well. Now they also have a future first from the Jets, and with Watson and possibly a better team in New York, that could be somewhat low in the first round. But they can still grab either a nice receiver if Darnold proves he can be a solid QB in the NFL, or if Darnold flops, then they can go out and get a nice QB. The only reason why I don't think they go out and get a QB in this draft is because their defense was just so bad to watch last year that they need to attempt to fix it through the draft. And with a better O-line and better weapons than in New York, Darnold could be decent for them. Their biggest free agent to bring back is Will Fuller, and they must do everything they can to bring him back and to not be a total mess. Fuller, Cooks, and Johnson were an alright trio for Watson, and even though Darnold is nowhere near the level Watson is at, giving Darnold a chance to succeed with good weapons and a good O-line could prove to be good for the Texans. The Texans right now are a mess, and part of it has to do with Deshaun Watson. If they move on from him as well as J.J. Watt for the right price and make the right moves with the draft picks they've given for the two, then they can escape being a complete mess. Watching this catastrophic downfall of the Texans hurts to watch as an NFL fan, and Texans fans, please accept our sincerest condolences. Thanks for watching today's video on the Texans and what they can do to escape being a complete mess. It's going to be an ugly one in Houston, but they have a chance to come out of it alive. If you did enjoy this video, there are more like it on the channel. We would love it if you could check it out. Our goal for this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and we can't do that without your guys' help. Once again, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Peace out.